Hey, so just really quick. When someone walks in the room and they make you feel a certain way, tense, uncomfortable, maybe frustrated, angry, on edge, you feel sort of your body tighten, um, you feel your brow furrow, just keep that in mind. When this person leaves and you suddenly feel your entire body relax, huge sense of relief, comfortable now in your own skin, comfortable now in your own space, ultimately at peace again. When you feel those two very drastic feelings about one person, it might be time to consider whether or not that person should hold a place in your life and should hold a place in your thoughts. It's very hard sometimes to make the decision to tell someone that you don't want them in your life anymore. It's very difficult to make the decision to actually follow through with that. However, when we talk about how our mental well being affects our physical well being, this is one of the most prime examples of that. When a friend or a family member or even a coworker makes us feel those ways, it is important to start recognizing that and understanding that maybe there is a time and that we need to make some decisions. Obviously, with coworkers, it can be a little bit more difficult because if we have a job that we need and we can't really leave, then we can't necessarily just say, okay, you're making me feel this way when you're here, you need to get out. But you might want to start considering that if you're feeling this way on a day to day basis, that there might be another department that you want to move to, or honestly, there might be another job that you need to move to if you know that that particular coworker isn't going anywhere. People can say, well, it's even more difficult with family, and I honestly disagree. I feel like if you have a family member who honestly makes you feel miserable, makes you feel tense, frustrated, and uncomfortable in your own home, your own space, and again, when that person leaves, you feel a huge sense of relief. And when you consider or think about them coming back into your space again, again, that whole tense, horrible, anxious feeling comes back. It might be time to start looking at why that is. And it doesn't mean that you need to cut that person out of your life entirely. There are other options. Maybe one of the options is having a conversation with that person, or first start recognizing for yourself if you're not already in counseling or having a conversation with somebody else, not in your family, about why you feel this way, what's going on. So if you haven't quite processed that yet, maybe starting to do that. And there are many different ways to kind of work that out in counseling. And again, the option may just be counseling and sort of then having a conversation with that person. Whether in your counseling session or not in your counseling session, it really depends, and sort of maybe putting these things on the table that you've been holding on to for a long time, and so you don't feel that way anymore. And for some people, depending on who they're dealing with, if it's a narcissistic personality disorder type of person or narcissistic parent, which we will talk about at some point, then you may make a decision that this is not someone that you do want in your life, and it's not as difficult as you think to have that person out of your life and make the decision to say, you know what, um, this is not healthy for me. And again, I know that a lot of people will guilt people into keeping people in their lives by saying, well, this is your only mother, this is your only father, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, etc., etc. Um, that's fine for them to say. That's their opinion. It has nothing to do with them. It's not their relationship. It's yours. And so again, I just challenge everybody that if you have people in your life, again, that you can say, when they walk into my life, into my space, this is how I feel. I feel tense. I feel anxious. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. But the moment that they leave, I recognize a huge sense of relief, peace. You should try to look at that a little bit and maybe make a little bit of changes, or start looking at what changes you think you might want to make. Because again, your mental well being really affects your physical well being. And just because somebody played a certain role or plays a certain role in your family, that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to continue to play that role for the rest of your life. We become adults and we decide who gets to continue to be in our lives, and they don't continue to do certain things and say certain things and make us feel certain ways for the rest of our lives. We have to deal with certain things as children, if there's not somebody there to stand up for us and say this is not okay. But as adults, we get to now say those things. We get to challenge that. So this is just my tidbit for today. There's certainly more to come, and I have so much more to say on this topic. I just wanted to throw this on the table. Again, I know a lot of people have many family members and friends and coworkers who make them feel this way, and sometimes they just feel guilted into the situation that they're in, or guilted into having this person in their life. And I'm just here to tell you, you absolutely do not need to have this person in your life any longer. Thanks.